Chapter 6. Colin came to, spluttering, as a bucket of cold water was thrown in his face. Opening the eye that wasn't swollen shut, he looked around. He was back in the dungeon in the Edinburgh castle. Bloody hell, he was chained to the wall. His wrists and ankles were chafed where he had struggled against the cuffs. He swallowed hard. Every year, on the anniversary of his death, he had to relive it to signify his rebirth as a shadow walker. Hell, couldn't Thorn come up with something less painful? Thorn was the god of shadows. It was he, in the darkness of the shadow realm, who offered Colin the choice to become a shadow walker. As he had unfinished business, he gladly made the bargain, accepting the curse, swearing to protect humanity from the daywalkers, and became immortal, keeping his soul. The soul is the energy life force in us all. It is what remains behind when someone dies and isn't ready to move on to the next realm. Damnation, how many hundreds of times every year at Halloween had he been killed? The betrayal hurt more than the dying. Screw the physical pain, he hardly noticed it. The depth of the deception ripped out his heart every bloody year. Seeing his brother wield the knife to end him, knowing Abigail was part of it, never got any damned easier. Why did they have to relive their deaths every year? Thorn could be one sick son of a bitch. This part of the curse he could live without. Bile rose in his throat. It all came crashing back. "By the gods, finish the damn thing!" Colin bellowed. He was tired of standing still, posing for the fussy painter. His fiancée Abigail wanted a portrait of him. He loved to indulge her, so he agreed. He didn't realize it would be the same morning he had a deal to complete. Maintaining the ancestral castle was bloody expensive, so he supplemented income by making and smuggling whiskey. It was made on the estate in an unused building out of sight. The malting room smelled delicious, like freshly baked bread from the kitchens. The brew had to be tended at all times. From the making to the smuggling, someone had to ensure the process and recipe was followed, not to mention looking out for customs officers and other bloody thieves. Colin would load his ship full of illegal goods and sail to the Leith Locks. From there the goods would be taken to the vaults in Edinburgh. He stored the whiskey there to let it age rather than keeping it on the estate. Safer that way. Finally the painter finished. He was late, didn't bother changing. "Colin, you'll ruin that shirt. You should change before you leave for Edinburgh," Abigail scolded as she came into the solar. "You know you'll just get it filthy and rip it. Why don't you change, darling?" she asked him, looking up, fluttering her lashes. "Abigail, darling, I'm late. If I ruin the bloody shirt, I'll buy another." Colin kissed her soundly, escaping from the room. It was a quick journey to Edinburgh by ship. He didn't want to miss the tides. Ships were the best way to evade customs. Having good relationships with many a captain didn't hurt. The captain would take the spirits to the vaults, and in return for his risk be paid in coin and drink. Usually Colin went to Edinburgh afterwards to check on the stock or do business in the city, but this time he wanted to go along to check the route and crew members. There had been a close call a few weeks back. He wanted to ensure the operation was still safe. The journey was uneventful, the weather perfect, even if it was cold outside. Late fall was a glorious time of year, with many interested parties to purchase his whiskey, more than the previous year. The alcohol was popular across Scotland and England. He'd recently shipped some to France for a gentleman he met playing cards. Arriving at the dock, Colin supervised the unloading and transfer to wagons by the light of the moon. It was a full moon, winking out from the clouds. It would provide plenty of light to make the journey. This batch of whiskey would age in the vaults for a few months before being sold as a cheaper brand. The casks that had aged for 10, 15, or 20 years were stored in other locations in the hills around the estate where they could easily be found but could be tended as needed. It was risky but necessary to produce a higher price and finer quality. Tonight, one batch was destined for England. He quirked a brow, thinking how ironic it was that the customs officers were English, and this whiskey was going to some English toff. Seemed hypocritical to him, but what the hell did he know?